want to make a short opening
Oh,
statement?
I was curious. Where are you, Senator Roberts? You look like you're in the outback somewhere.
A little place called Stonehenge, about 153 kilometres from Longreach.
There you go. Good on you. Well, good on you for still participating.
Every day, mate.
Would you like to make a short opening statement, Ms Booth?
Not on this occasion, Senator, thank you.
Good, thank you. Senator Roberts, to you.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you again for attending, everyone. Let me just make sure my camera's right. First of all, I understand that the Fair Work Ombudsman has received a ministerial directive to investigate underpayments of casual black coal miners working under enterprise agreements. Is that correct?
Senator, certainly we have been asked to conduct that investigation, and I think on the last occasion you'll recall Mr Ronson gave you a thorough rundown, and since that time our Enforcement Board has approved an investigation plan, but I would turn to Mr Campbell to give you any further updates that he might be able to do so.
I might bring Steve up.
Before he does so, Ms Booth, would it be possible to get a copy of the ministerial directive, please?
I'm not sure that I would describe it as a ministerial directive, although others might be more aware of the protocol in these matters. I believe it was a letter.
Can we have a copy, please?
I see no reason why you shouldn't, but I will hand over to Mr Campbell and Mr Ronson to give you more details.
Senator, it's Michael Campbell here, Group Manager Operations. Is there a particular aspect of our inquiries that you're interested in, or are you looking for a general update?
Yes, I'd like to know specifically, please, an overview of the status of the Fair Work Ombudsman's activities, okay. And could you, in particular, describe the process that the Fair Work Ombudsman is using to conduct its investigations?
Yeah, fine. I'll ask Mr Ronson to assist.
Yeah, Steve Ronson, Executive Director, Fair Work Ombudsman. Senator, I can give you an update on the status of the investigation, and the Fair Work Ombudsman is currently investigating 18 black coal mining industry matters that involves 25 workers and 17 different employing entities. We've also received 2 self-reports from the sector. All the requests for assistance that we've received are being investigated, and as part of our project plan, we're meeting with a whole range of stakeholders, and we've begun meeting with them to talk about the investigation, to enhance awareness, increase awareness, and to encourage those in the sector to come forward. We have a dedicated email address to receive any allegations or information from any member of the sector or the community. And so far, we've had some very constructive and positive meetings. We've had 2 meetings with the Coal Mining Industry Long Service Leave Funding Corporation. We've met with the Mining Energy Union, and we've also met with the Independent Workers Union of Australia, and we've got a whole range of other stakeholder meetings lined up in the next couple of weeks.
So I assume then, thank you, Mr Ronson, I assume that there's a dedicated process which casual coal miners can now use to lodge complaints of underpayments with the Fair Work Ombudsman? That's
correct. Yeah, there's a dedicated email address we've set up for the whole project so that anyone in the sector or anyone with information relating to the sector can feel confident they can just go straight through to contacting us through that email, or they can give us a call, whichever way they want to contact with us. And of course there's still the anonymous report function as well, which is available to all members of the community.
Thank you. Now, you mentioned the Independent Workers Union of Australia. I take it that some of the submissions or complaints have been lodged through that, and some of the others are individually lodged?
That's correct. Work? Yeah, that's right. Probably 2/3 have come through the agency of the Independent Workers Union Australia, and the other third are just individual workers in the sector who have got requests for assistance that we're looking at.
Thank you. I must say that I appreciate your succinct and direct answers. Can the Fair Work Ombudsman provide a range of the possible underpayment amounts currently being looked at by the Fair Work Ombudsman?
It's hard to assess at the moment, Senator, what the potential underpayments, if any, could exist. Some of the requests, some of the allegations date back at least 10 years, 11 years. There are some individuals who've worked in the sector for many years, and if the allegations are upheld and if the evidence is obtained, there could be significant underpayments owing to certain workers. But at this stage, it's too early. We've requested a series of documents, a lot of information from various companies that will assist us begin, if you like, the assessment of these particular claims.
Thank you. How many employers are subject to investigation so far? Not only the mine owners, but the labour hire firms. How many?
All up, 17, 17.
You mentioned that, okay.
Yeah.
Will the Fair Work Ombudsman advertise to coal miners in the black coal mining sector, encouraging them to lodge and apply to the Fair Work Ombudsman in relation to underpayments they believe they may have been subject to?
In terms of advertising, what do you mean, like increasing awareness as in media statements?
Yes, letting them know you're open for business and you're aware that this is an issue.
Yeah, that's definitely an option available and one we're considering. It's also, there's some other ideas that we have as well about enhancing awareness. For example, there's nothing to prevent us writing to all labour hire providers and employing entities in the sector. This is one of the suggestions that's been put to us and one that we're currently considering.
Would that be a wise move in terms of trying to get to the miners? Because some of these labour hire firms, some, have been deliberately suppressing this.
Well, that's right. Yeah, good point. In terms of employees, in terms of former workers, that's a different sort of audience, if you like, and that's one we're turning our minds to about how do we ensure people who've either in the industry now or formerly in the industry are aware of this investigation. The second point I was making, was relation to employers, and that's something we've done in the past where we've written to, say, for example, the top 100 ASX companies, where we encourage them to review their status, and so if they self-identify, they can self-report any potential non-compliance.
Because my understanding is that some of the miners are not aware of it, but it's a major issue because we estimate around about 5,000 miners at least have been the subject of Australia's largest wage theft case, and it will cost ultimately around $1.3 billion. You know, they're rough estimates. Yeah. So I think these people need to be told that there's an option for them to seek justice and repayment.
Yeah, as I say, it's something we're definitely turning our minds to and considering what's the best way to get the word out, if you like.
Okay, let's hope that you can get that out fairly soon. The Fair Work Ombudsman will be aware that One Nation has pushed for investigation into this issue and that One Nation released a detailed report in February 2024. Is the Fair Work Ombudsman taking submissions on how the alleged underpayments have occurred, and would the Fair Work Ombudsman accept One Nation's report as a submission? We can provide data, companies involved, amounts, enterprise agreements, underpayment.
Yeah, sure. I mean, we welcome all and any information, any submissions.
So we would make submissions in the same way anyone else would?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Would we be involved, One Nation that is, in any follow-up discussions on the nature of the issue and its resolution?
Yeah, if there's information that's material, actionable, by all means, we'll be in contact.
Because as I understand it, the Mining and Energy Union, which is what's left in the coal mining sector after the CFMEU and the Mining and Energy Union split, they're not seeking back pay. They seem to be hiding it because they were implicated with, they were involved in agreeing to the enterprise agreements, signing off enterprise agreements that were paying much less than the award. Is the Fair Work Ombudsman inviting submissions from other organisations and individuals? And if so, what organisations? Who have specifically been approached?
Well, to date, we've met with, as I said before, we've met with the Coal Mining Industry Long Service Leave Corporation, and we're asking that agency to provide us any relevant information. We've met with the Mining Energy Union. We've offered the same. We've extended the same invitation. We've met with the Independent Workers Union Australia, and as you know, they're actively involved and they're assisting our investigation. We also intend to meet with the Queensland Labour Hire Licensing Compliance Unit, RCSA, which is the Recruitment Consulting and Staffing Association. They're responsible for labour hire. Minerals Council of Australia, we've got meetings lined up with them, and safe work bodies in New South Wales and Queensland.
Will you be covering more than the wage theft case, the specific amounts of the wage theft? In other words, loss of other entitlements and protections and safeguards?
Oh, well, our jurisdiction only extends to, obviously, entitlements or conditions that are actionable or have been created under the Fair Work Act and the regulations. So it's only within our remit.
Thank you. Is the Fair Work Ombudsman consulting with the Fair Work Commission on the issue?
Not to date. There's been no need at this stage, and I think, well, I'm confident we said at our last hearing that we don't have the power or the capability to question any approvals of any agreements that have been made in the past. Others can take that issue up.
So you lack. Who are the others who can do that, Mr. Ronson?
Oh, well, parties to an agreement.
Okay. So only the Mining and Energy Union, its predecessor, the CFMEU, employers, mining companies?
I'll defer to Chief Counsel as to who in particular can question agreements.
I think you've given, Rachel Volsky, Chief Counsel, Fair Work Ombudsman. I think Mr Ronson's given a reasonable list. I guess I would just say more broadly, one of the issues that I raised at last estimates is just to remember that we still have that statutory time frame that applies under the Fair Work Act of 6 years as well. But obviously that won't preclude us from investigating. But it's also just important to, that the miners that we're looking at also bear that in mind.
Yeah, I'm pleased to say that it wouldn't preclude you investigating. It may preclude, at the moment, addressing the issues that are raised in the investigation, but not preclude the investigation. The premise for my next question, Mr Ronson, is as follows. The Black Coal Award does not allow for casuals. Enterprise agreements were made, and some are still current, where the agreements pay rates that are demonstrably less than what should be paid under the award if the award allowed for casuals. To an ordinary person, paying casuals less than an award casualised rate, that's a full-time rate plus 25%, is plainly wrong. That's the pub test, as people say. Yet the Fair Work Commission endorsed the enterprise agreements. My question is this. I assume the Fair Work Ombudsman must somehow determine which instrument prevails, being either enterprise agreements that pay less than casualised award rate, or an award rate that incorporates a casualised 25% add-on to a full-time rate. Does the Fair Work Ombudsman have an idea as to how this may be resolved?
Well, it's a $64 question, Senator, if I can confirm it. And I think, as previous evidence we've provided, there remains uncertainty regarding the legal consequences of the Black Coal Mining Award's lack of provision for employees in these roles, as it hasn't been authoritatively determined by a court. So it remains an open question.
Will the Fair Work Ombudsman be issuing a report or reports on its findings of the investigation? And if so, what would be the anticipated timeline for such reports? I think the Minister made some comment estimated timeline.
Yeah, at this stage, I think in the evidence I gave last time, more than happy to provide status updates in this forum as we go along. But we're hoping that we'd have early preliminary findings toward the middle of this year, or just after the middle of this year. But I think I said last time, and I think it's still the case, it could be at least till mid-26 before we're in a position to provide a final report. But we will keep this committee posted.
So would you be in a position to provide interim reports as the investigation progresses?
Well, I think it's probably easier if we provide status reports like I have today. The thing about an investigation, how long an investigation takes, is it all
depends on the
yeah.
scope. Yeah, what you find, I get it. Would any reports you provide be public and unredacted, except of course for retaining confidentiality of workers allegedly underpaid?
Well, I see no reason why it wouldn't be. A report that we provide would be as fulsome and comprehensive as we could publish. So,
We're not expecting names of individuals to be disclosed.
no.
We expect them to be redacted. Would the reports indicate the employers involved, the organisations involved, the employers and organisations under investigation, and any findings that the Fair Work Ombudsman has in relation to the specific employers?
Just before we answer that question, so Senator Roberts, just indication, we're running about an hour and a bit late, but please, I don't want to cut off your questions, but if there are some that can be on notice, that would be helpful, but otherwise I'll come back to you.
I think the way, thank you, Chair. I think the way Mr Ronson is answering the questions directly, it won't be long at all. I've only got a few more going, and I've got to move too.
Good. No worries.
Mr Ronson?
Well, Senator, the best way of answering your question, it's the long-held practice of the Fair Work Ombudsman to provide reports of all its major investigations. We've published all of them, and they're available on our website, and it would be our practice and expectation to do so again.
Thank you. If the Fair Work Ombudsman were to conclude that underpayments had occurred, and based on the Fair Work Ombudsman's past experiences, does the Fair Work Ombudsman have ideas of scenarios for compensation of any workers' underpayments?
Well, we have ideas as to whether they're actionable or realisable. That will be determined in due course.
Yes. Something Ms Volsky raised. What is the effect of the statute of limitations, and how would that apply to, say, someone lodging a complaint today?
Well,
They would still lodge it, but
yes, as Chief Counsel answered, it doesn't preclude our investigations. The statute, the provision in the Act only relates to enforceability in the event of proceedings. But there's no reason why we can't go back historically and look at historic underpayments and seek to, if the allegations are upheld and there is an entitlement owing, to seek to secure that underpayment.
thank you. Last question, Chair. Is the Fair Work Ombudsman investigating beyond the statute of limitations to ascertain full amounts possibly underpaid?
Yes.
Thank you very much. I must say, Chair, that I want to express my appreciation for Mr Ronson being direct. It enabled me to get through my questions, and I also want to communicate to the Secretariat that I'll be on the road, so I won't be able to ask the Fair Work Commission questions in the hearings, but I will put them on notice, and the same with the coal long service leave.
Thank you, Senator Roberts. And